A year after being embroiled with a controversial victory at Richmond Raceway that cost him a NASCAR Cup Series playoff berth, Austin Dillon earned his spot back in the playoffs by scoring a redemptive victory in this year's Cookout 400 at Richmond on Saturday, August 16th. Good morning, race fans and motorsports enthusiasts around the world. My name is Andrew Kim, and this is Retro Motor Vibes, where I highlight anniversary stories and race analyses of motorsports events near and far. For today's audio episode, here is a full breakdown of the NASCAR Cup Series event at Richmond Raceway, a three-quarter oval-shaped short track in Richmond, Virginia. Without further ado, let's break the event down. The event's starting lineup was determined through an on-track qualifying session that occurred on Friday, August 15th. The session consisted of a single round and two qualifying laps for each of the 38 competitors entered for the event. At the conclusion of the session, Ryan Preece claimed the pole position with a pole-winning lap at 121.381 miles per hour in 22.244 seconds. For Preece, it marked his second Cup career pole and his first since he achieved his first ever in the series at Martinsville Speedway in April 2023. The competitor who started alongside Preece on the front row was Tyler Reddick, the latter of whom clocked in his fastest qualifying lap at 120.908 miles per hour in 22.331 seconds. For Reddick, it marked his second front row start of the 2025 season and his first ever at Richmond. Prior to the event, Todd Gilliland and Joey Logano started at the rear of the field due to unapproved adjustments that were made to their respective entries. For Logano, his issues were due to suspension repairs after he wrecked against the outside wall entering Turn 3 during Friday's practice session. The first stage period spanned 70 laps and featured a single lead change, where two competitors led. In addition, this stage featured no cautions. At the drop of the green flag, Preece led the first 58 laps from pole position, and while leading, he tried to utilize an early pit gamble by remaining on the track on the tires he started the event with, while nearly the entire field behind made strategic green flag pit stops at certain points throughout the stage. Preece's gamble did not pay the dividends, as he was overtaken by Tyler Reddick, who was among many who pitted for fresh tires on lap 58. As Preece proceeded to plummet to 15th place, Reddick, who led the stage's final 16 laps, proceeded to capture the first stage victory, which by then marked his second stage victory of the 2025 season. The second stage period spanned 152 laps, which commenced on lap 79 before concluding on lap 230. During the stage, 6 lead changes occurred as a total of 5 competitors led at least a single lap. In addition, there were 3 occurrences of cautions that spanned for a total of 27 laps. One of the notable cautions that occurred was on lap 182 during a cycle of green flag pit stops when Reddick was clipped and sent for a spin by Toyota teammate Ty Gibbs entering Turn 4. The contact from Gibbs was due to Daniel Suarez bumping and sending Gibbs into Reddick. The event's biggest carnage occurred on lap 197, one lap after a restart, when Kyle Busch sent Chase Briscoe sideways entering Turn 3. And as Briscoe slid through the turn, a stack-up within the field ensued as a total of 11 competitors, including both Briscoe and Busch, were involved. Amid the carnage, Justin Haley and Chase Elliott, the latter of whom was sent head-on into the Turn 3 outside wall by Busch after nearly dodging the carnage, were eliminated from further contention. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace, who led a total of 115 laps and 4 restart periods throughout the stage, cruised to the second stage victory, which was his third of the 2025 season. During the final stage period that spanned 161 laps, 14 lead changes occurred as 8 competitors led at least a lap. But like the first stage period, no cautions occurred. As tire management and various pit strategies amongst the field dominated this stage period, similar like the first 2, Austin Dillon's path to victory was implemented both on the track and on pit road. While leading 101 of his 107 overall on the track throughout this latest stage period, Dillon capitalized through 2 planned green flag pit stops that kept him at the front of the field. Despite being intimidated by Carson Hocevar's attempts to outstrategize Dillon by pitting 3 times under green flag conditions, and while being drawn in heated side-by-side battle with Ryan Blaney for the lead on the track, Dillon had the final say as he cycled to the lead through the final time with 49 laps remaining. With the lead in his possession, he navigated his way through both lap traffic and fended off a late charge from Alex Bowman to capture the victory with an advantage of more than 2 seconds. With the victory, Dillon achieved his 6th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series division and his 2nd in a row at Richmond, the exact venue of his previously recorded victory dating back to August 2024. The Richmond victory was also the first of the year for Richard Childress Racing and the 2nd ever for Richard Boswell, Dillon's new crew chief at the start of the 2025 season and who captured the Southern 500 victory with Chase Briscoe during the previous season. As a result, Dillon, who came into Richmond strapped in 28th place in the standings, became the 14th competitor to secure a berth to the 2025 Cup Series playoffs, with this year marking Dillon's 5th overall trip to NASCAR's postseason battle for the championship. Dillon's Richmond victory was a redemptive one for the welcome North Carolina native and came without controversy compared to the previous season, during which he intentionally wrecked both Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin on the final lap and final turn during an overtime shootout to win and initially clinched a spot to the 2024 playoffs. 3 days later, however, NASCAR revoked Dillon's playoff berth due to the driver's actions and upheld the ruling amid both Dillon and Richard Childress Racing's repeated appeal attempts. Here are the full race results of the 2025 Cookout 400. Here in the results, the drivers with 1 asterisk indicate that they recorded stage points in at least one of the event's first 2 stages, while the drivers with 2 indicate that they recorded points in both stages. Notably, Ryan Blaney, who led 39 laps and was in striking position of challenging Austin Dillon for the win, ended up in 3rd place. Denny Hamlin, who endured numerous slow pit services from his pit crew, muscled his way to a 10th place result, while Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch, both of whom triggered the multi-car stack-up during the 2nd stage period, finished 13th and 16th respectively. For final notes, Carson Hocevar ended up in 15th place following his late 3 pit stop strategic plan. Bubba Wallace, who posted the fastest lap of the event on lap 81, ended up in 28th place due to a detached left front wheel during a late cycle of green flag pit stops. His teammate Tyler Reddick settled in 34th place following his 2nd stage spin. Next, here is the projected outlook of the 2025 Cup Series playoff field. The competitors with a single asterisk next to the name indicates that they are officially locked into the playoffs by winning at least once throughout the 25-race regular season stretch. Notably, William Byron, whose name is highlighted in 5th place, clinched the regular season championship, which is a first for the driver, as he holds a 68-point advantage in the regular season standings. As a result of Austin Dillon leapfrogging his way into the playoff picture, Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman occupy the final 2 vacant spots to the playoffs, with only a single regular season event remaining on the schedule. Chris Buescher, who came into Richmond 34 points above the cut line, now joins teammate Ryan Preece and the rest of the competitors ranked from 19th to 30th in the displayed standings as the ones looking from the outside and likely needing a victory during next weekend's regular season finale at Daytona International Speedway to maintain any playoff hopes to the 2025 season. Overall, the 2025 Cookout 400 at Richmond featured 24 lead changes for 11 different leaders and 5 cautions for 44 laps. While all but 2 of 38 starters finished the event, only 13 finished on the lead lap. Dillon's Cup victory capped off an eventful doubleheader weekend of racing at Richmond Raceway. On Friday, Corey Heim capitalized on a late race incident involving Ty Majeski, the latter of whom was dominant, to win the Craftsman Truck Series regular season finale for a 7th victory to the 2025 season. Heim and Majeski join Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum, Raja Caruth, Grant Enfinger, Caden Honeycutt, and Jake Garcia as the 10 competitors who will contend for the 2025 Truck Series Championship over a 7-race playoff stretch. Next weekend, the Craftsman Truck Series enters an off-weekend period, but the series returns to action at Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina on August 30th for the Sober or Slammer 200 and to commence the series playoffs. Meanwhile, the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to action this upcoming Friday, August 22nd at Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida for the Wawa 250. The event's coverage commences at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CW Network, MRN Radio, and SiriusXM. The Cup Series will cap off next weekend's doubleheader action at Daytona by running its regular season finale, the Coke Zero Sugar 400, next Saturday, August 23rd, with a coverage starting time of 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC, MRN, SiriusXM, and HBO Max. That's all for this episode. Have a great rest of your day and see you on the next episode of Retro Motor Vibes.